Hi, I'm Denisa, and I'm here with the fan carpet at the Moet British Independent Film Awards. Stay with us, as tonight we will be interviewing on the red carpet the nominees of the ceremony awards and later on the winners.
Oh my God, I think just my love of it, my pure, honest, genuine love of acting. I can't imagine not having it. I can't imagine not doing it. I can't imagine ever getting sick of it, which is amazing, really, if you think about it. After 23 years of doing this now, you know, I feel very, very lucky that I'm still so fueled by this profession and as terrified of it as I always was in the beginning, and you know, love it as much as I do.
It's really important to represent home for me. I think we've got a nation of really terrific storytellers. We always have done, and that's kind of our culture and our roots, and the fact that we're having such a great year with Irish actors, Irish directors, writers is wonderful, and to be a part of that is great. So.
Well, it's first of all where a lot of actors get a decent start in the industry and get that kind of initial burst of kind of recognition, and people really get to see them, and then as you sort of continue in the industry, it's amazing to kind of come back into that as much as you can, because there's such a depth of talent and ability that are on all levels of the industry, in casts and crews and storytelling, and so you're constantly wanting to plug back in and to work in British independent films. So yeah.
Ex Machina came out at the tail end of a lot of other movies about AI. There was obviously something kind of in the air, you know. There was Transcendence and Chappie and Big Hero 6 and Her, and there's more, in fact, Ultron. You know, there was something about AIs like in the ether, and I guess we picked up on that.
Do you think this is going to sort out the next role for you? Because you weren't very good. You're next.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know. This industry is tough as it is. This may or may not, you know, help. I don't know. Are you talking about when I spoke about? Yeah. I actually bumped into him and I was like, you know, I've been talking about you. And he was like, well, I've been talking about you. I was like, okay, that's fine then.
Did he say good things, or you didn't find out?
I don't know. I've known Corin for a little while, so hopefully good things.
There's a lot of really good films in that category, and I was already zoned out. I thought someone else was going to win, and and I drank a lot of champagne.
So you were pulled out of your stupor.
Yeah, I was like,
It's fabulous. You know, when you're up on that stage, all the blood kind of rushes to your head, so your hands are quite numb, but the blood has flowed down the arms into the fingers, and I can really get a sense of its mass and its kind of heft. So in that sense, it's good. I haven't lost all sensation in my arms, so I'm relieved about that. And now the emotional element of winning the award is coming through as well. Yeah.
Could you tell me a bit about how you managed to make the effect of the film feel so real?
A lot of it's down to how we made sure that when we were on set every single day, we made sure to capture all of the lighting that was used on set, so that when we were lighting our computer models, they were lit using exactly the same lighting as we had on set. Just taking a whole bunch of reference of all the different kinds of materials we wanted to make Ava out of, you know, whether it's aluminium or carbon fibre, so that all of the details were carefully researched and felt good. And then on top of that, it's just applying a bit of an artist's eye and looking at the images and going, well, you know, how can we make this more beautiful? What can we add to this to make it better? And, you know, that's where having a great team of fantastic artists is absolutely essential.
So it's an animation film. It was made in stop motion with puppets made out of felt and wool, and with the faces hand drawn onto it. And it's about a man who kind of goes back through his life. It's sort of physically, because with animation you can do things that aren't possible in real life. So you see him going through various rooms that represent different stages in his life, and basically what you realise is that he has this really dark impulse inside him that I won't give away too much about the film, that he's kind of discovering the kind of origins of his strange desires and impulses as he goes back through his life.
I mean, I really wasn't expecting it, so that as I walked up there I thought, what am I going to say and who should I thank? But it's so cool to be here with him, because it's like we had such a good time making this, didn't we? And then that means people really like what we did, and that's kind of a great thing, I think.
This little dude gave the best performance I've ever seen, honestly.
I think
I was just blown away.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did like something that I think pushes to the absolute limit what you can do, you know, when you're as young as Jake, in terms of how subtle that performance is, how consistent it is. It was amazing, you know, and I raised my glass to him.
What was it most challenging in actually making it happen?
Time. Yeah, time. You know, you're always up against it in any kind of filmmaking, but I think particularly in animation, because everything is so work intensive and time consuming, and we had some really wonderful animators working in it. So I think we should probably thank Adam Watts and Hoel Roberts, who worked on it as well. And it's just painstaking, you know. What did we get through? Maybe 3 seconds of animation a day when we were lucky?
Yeah, that's kind of what we were doing, and I think we had to pull in a lot of favors, and a lot of friends and family worked on it. Everybody had to join, a lot of goodwill, and you know, we thank them also with this prize, of course.
It was really exciting because I didn't really expect this to come. It was a really exciting thing because, I mean, you never know. It's like, actually right now I'm gonna quote Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump, and I'm gonna say life is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get.
Nice one, Jay. Oh, so smooth.
Nice. What would you say was most challenging in actually managing to pull it off?
I think duplicating Alicia's movements with the CG robot was the hardest, because copying very subtle, gentle movement is actually much more difficult than copying more extreme action kind of movement. And it's a very still, gentle film, and she is often not moving that much, but that actually was a huge challenge.
I really am genuinely thrilled and excited and surprised. I didn't think I'd win, so yeah, it's very lovely. Yeah.
What do you find most challenging about the project?
It took a really long time. It took me 6 years to make, from starting the filming to the end. It took forever to raise the money, so I'm very thankful to Creative England, Film Cymru and Storyville, and all our amazing crowdfunders who backed the film. And yeah, documentaries take a long time, but this one took me longer than any film I've ever made before. So,
what do you like most about filming it?
I just really liked working with really cool people, like Lenny and Ed and Bree. She's not here right now. She was a really fun pal I had.
You called each other co-workers, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you said we're co-workers.
It's basically about a Welsh barmaid that breeds a racehorse that ends up running the Grand National. I don't think that's spoiling anything, is it?
No, I think that's...
No, that's fair enough. That should get people enticed. She brings it up on her allotment. On a slag heap, people throw the ends of their dinner over the fence to feed it, stuff like that. They'll put £10 a week in, and one thing leads to another, and this racehorse turns out to be not bad, and then has a good run, and then quite a bad accident. Hope I'm not giving too much away. And then more stuff, happens after that.
Spoiler
it's a roller coaster ride.
Yes.
But a true story. Yeah, it's a dark context.
Yeah.
And the danger, I suppose, with the film as opposed to the novel, where you can concentrate on what you want. With the film, you are looking at it, so there was always that sense of being careful not to let that overwhelm what is really a very uplifting and hopeful story about just this amazing pair of people, this mother and son, who through it all end up sticking together, surviving and stepping back out into the world. So yeah, it was, and I think what really surprises people who watch it is how uplifting it is as a film, you know, and that's a lovely thing for us, I think, to watch when we talk to people who've seen it, to get that sort of reaction.
Would you say that documentaries would be your favourite type of film to make?
I only make documentaries, so I've made 6 feature documentaries, and there's something about the incredible power of a real life story told well, or, you know, it's like being an archaeologist and a kind of private investigator, and it's absolutely thrilling. I'm not sure I'd know where to start with a fiction.
What was it that inspired you to tell the story?
Just reading it, honestly, literally reading it. I read it in
when I was looking for a completely different story, and I immediately rang Judith, who I've worked with on and off, and said, I swear to goodness, if you never do anything worthwhile as long as you live, you have to get on the phone to these people and persuade them to make a film with us. So it's like obviously a non-pressure situation, but she pulled a blinder and succeeded. So there you go. It's down to her. She made it happen.
What Game of Thrones is great for is training local crew, particularly camera and art departments, and getting them really, really good. And when Game of Thrones comes to an end, which is hopefully soon, the show is interminable. I mean, yeah, it's no, they should do True Detective 3 in like Belfast. It's like some sort of muddled conspiracy. Bring Colin Farrell up, and stuff like this. But it's challenging if you're an independent filmmaker because they take all your crew. So you have to shoot your film when Game of Thrones isn't shooting, which is a challenge. But what it does mean is when Game of Thrones comes to an end, we're going to have a fantastic set of filmmaking crew who will be available all year round, and not just that kind of 2-month November-December window.
I think what you have to decide is what you want to tell, because all stories have a variety of elements in them, and you have to know all your elements, understand them all, talk to your people as much as you can, interrogate the story is the phrase that is used, but you don't want them to know you're interrogating them, shine a light in their face. And then you have to realize what story it is you want to tell, and I think that was very much what Louise was doing. You're paring it down all the time. You're saying, what is the essence of the story? What is it I want to say to the world? What is it that makes this story move us? What is it that makes this story turn us on? Because if it turns us on, it might turn other people on. And so that's what you find. You find the absolute essence of it. And with any luck, we did.
Yeah, like Donald, who has won like 3 awards for other people tonight. Both. He hasn't won any of his own, but I'll give him this one. He deserves it. Yeah, both very different. They both work in very kind of different ways. But it's great. They both brought such a kind of sincerity to it. I think they had some of the toughest jobs, really, the two of them, because they had to represent a whole life and a whole world. It wasn't as simple as just kind of a love triangle, They represented so much more than that, and like a life-changing choice that she ultimately was going to have to make. So you needed two kind of brilliant, strong actors to do that, and we had them. We were very lucky.
I mean, it's a huge thing. We found the story, we then started investigating it, found some research documents which helped us, and then we tracked down all the guys who'd actually served, and the script really developed from that. But in a funny sense, that was the easy bit. You then got to, just like every other independent film, just find someone to back you. And raising the money, of course, was a tough task. And it is so difficult, and I'm sure that all of these films, we won the best producer, but I'm looking at all of them, and I bet they all struggled. It ain't easy. People are calling it a film industry, and it's questionable whether it's an industry as such. It's more like a cottage industry if it's there at all. Certainly from the independent sector, because it's just so piecemeal and hand to mouth. But we got there, which is the key thing. And then again, the production was a joy, and we fell in with some fantastic bunch of actors, and the rest is what we got.
Well, I think that one of the reasons that film is so amazing is that you need so many different skills to make a movie. You need acting and writing and hair and makeup and costume and people banging wood and plugging in plugs and light photography, and when it all comes together, it's incredibly gratifying. And so when you make something that then people like and want to Garland, excuse the pun, then it's very exciting. Particularly as it was a long time ago, so I think Andrew and I thought that everyone would have forgotten about this by now. We could have a nice relaxed evening, but here we are.
Was it hard to get the cast? I don't know if it was hard to choose the cast, but we were very lucky to work with the Hubbards, who are fantastic casting directors. They saw a lot of people before we then saw them, and actually, the cast was amazing. And we now look at it, and none of us could imagine anyone else playing those roles, and I think that's a really good sign of being really happy with your cast and thinking that your cast were fantastic.
I guess it's always a bit of a process, because particularly when you have 3 people and it's a small cast, they all have to sort of blend together. You can't have 3 redheads, maybe. You want to try and do that, and it also takes a while because all these actors are working all over the world. I remember Alicia was working in Australia, and she sent this amazing tape of this audition, and we wanted to cast her, but we hadn't met her. So it takes a while sometimes, and then who's going to be right? And we were lucky that we could cast 3 brilliant actors rather than the 3 names that made it matter to the money. So that made a huge difference.
All the all the cast brought a lot. They're serious actors, each and every one. They're sort of holistic actors. They vanish. The person that you meet off screen is not the person you see on screen. Which isn't the case always. And I think what Alicia brought is she made this machine something that was a machine, but also had very human qualities and sort of ultra-human, sort of extra-human qualities, sort of otherness about her. I remember one of the things she said very early is that her movements were going to be too perfect. They weren't going to be robot movements, they were going to be human movements, but they'd be too perfect, and that would make her feel slightly strange. And it did. She was very clever in the way she approached it.
I think it's because it's literary, because Alex wrote a fantastic screenplay and he's interested in a different type of science fiction. The problem with science fiction is it's a spectacle action event, and even when maybe Kubrick made 2001, science fiction was considered silly. It was all little robots, and also the technology. This is the technology and the visual effects allows the story to feel very real and true. So I think that helps as well. And it's a human story, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the challenges are normally that VFX is expensive and time-consuming, but we didn't have any problems at all because the VFX team developed a really, really fantastic way of working, which meant there was no green screen, no tracking markers, none of the stuff that normally comes with VFX. We just shot it as drama. Alicia was wearing a suit that is the thing that covers her shoulders and chest, but it was over her whole body, and then the VX guys just swapped that out. So it didn't interrupt anything, and I'd say actually my favourite thing about this evening was Andrew Whitehurst, the VFX supervisor, picking up that award because he really earned it. He really earned it.
What do you have coming up next? And
I've got 2 very exciting projects, but they're so top secret I'm not allowed to talk about them. But they're just watch this space. They're really exciting.
Soon enough? 2016?
Pardon?
Soon enough?
Yeah, maybe I'll have one done next year, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we'll be facing that.
Yeah, well, I'm making a film about a woman next. I'm really determined to make a film about a woman and put her centre stage. I've made a few films about men, and it's time to make a film about a woman.
I think everyone takes something different from it, which I was quite surprised by. Like at first, when I read it, I thought this is a film for Ireland, this is a film for the Irish, and it's to honour kind of our story, our immigrant story. And then as we started to screen it, it kind of achieved this universality. Everyone a lot of people anyway really related to it because everyone's left home, everyone's felt that way, and I realised it was something kind of more than what I initially thought it was going to be. And then, journalists would come in to me and say, I'm in a long distance relationship and I understand this part of it and that speaks to me, or I am the one who was left behind when my kid went to college, or whatever it is. I think when you take a story like that, and that's the genius of Colm and Nick's writing, when it's something that I don't want to say is simple, but it's not overly dramatic, it's just quite true. Anyone can identify with that,
Yeah, no, it's been great to start working again with Benedict and of course Tilda Swinton, So we're very fortunate to have a really extraordinary group of people that we're working on Doctor Strange with, and so I'm thrilled and excited about it.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow the Fan Carpet on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and we will have more for you next time.